If 28 years later surprised you, this one's gonna shock you. What's up, everybody? So, this is my review of 28 Years Later The Bone Temple, directed by Nia DaCosta, written by Alex Garland. And the premise of this particular part of the 28 whatever franchise is Dr. Kelson, played by Ray Fiennes. He returns from the previous movie 28 years later, and this time there's a possibility that he could reverse the effects of the rage virus. Now, right off the bat, I was very worried about this movie because meanwhile 28 days later and 28 years later, let's just all forget about 28 weeks later, both of those movies were directed by the great Danny Boyle. Now, this one, even though Danny Boyle is, he's in the background, you can kind of feel his fingerprints all over the place, but it's directed by Nia DaCosta. Now, I don't know Nia DaCosta other than The Marvels. And if you've seen The Marvels, then God bless you for surviving, because that was just not a good movie on so many levels. And I was wondering how much of that was just the studio and just their constant interference, and how much of that was also Nia DaCosta maybe not necessarily being the right person for the job based on her skill set. Now, I had my mind opened, going into this. And I was like, okay, look, let's get a clean slate. Maybe it was just the studio doing what they always do and interfering in the creative process. And after seeing this movie, they definitely interfered with the creative process. It was good on so many levels. Again, I am not a zombie movie guy. I will watch them every now and again, depending on who put it together, who's in it, what is the overall sense that they're trying to convey with the particular zombie story. And 28 days later and the subsequent sequels have always had like a bit of a soft spot in my heart because they were the first ones that actually did something new. Before 28 days later, zombies, and I will and always will refer to them as zombies, they always just walked and somehow was able to cover a large amount of distance even though the person they're chasing is running. But this one, like, they're running after you. Like, there is it's such a simple adjustment, a simple new thing to put in the lore of any kind of zombies that it just made them even more terrifying. And so, all right, I'm gonna keep up with this. I actually watched 28 Weeks Later in the movie theater. I was not particularly impressed, but when you think of 28 Days Later and 28 Years Later and this one, wow, like they really know what they're trying to do. I think with the Bone Temple, they really figured out what the world is going to look like and feel like, and what are the possibilities of storylines and characters that they can explore. And with this particular one, as much as I love Ray Fiennes and just one of the great actors, not only working today, but I really do put him in the category of like all-time great. I forget his name, but the guy who plays Lord Jimmy, whoa. Like, I don't know where they found him because I don't know him before he played Lord Jimmy in 28 Years Later. But that dude and the way they wrote that character is nothing short of, yeah, I'll say it. I'll use the big G word. It's genius. Just a combination of the two. His skill set, the writing by Alex Garland, they're just created something classic. I mean, I put him as a villain up there with any other great villain in movie history. He is terrifying, he is cruel, he is violent, he's funny. The way he's able to just lord over his little gang of other bleached blonde followers, it's a weird balance, this weird tightrope he walks by being over the top and cartoonish, but at the same time, there is something very real about it. Like, so one of the things that I just kept on thinking about after it was all of the cult leaders in history, Jim Jones, David Koresh, that dude from Heaven's Gate, and it's like, it really felt like this is how they operated, and he just kind of blew it up in a spectacular way. And aside from Lord Jimmy, another thing that I think is really, really well done in general are just like how violent it gets. Like, it's very gory at moments. Like, if you're not prepared for that, like if you know nothing about this movie going in, and you might have a bit of a soft stomach, um, tread lightly, because there are some moments in this movie that will just, your jaw will be on the ground, your eyes will be like, deer in the headlights, because it's just so over the top and extreme, yet somehow still feels appropriate for this world. And it's not really a sequel, I would say. It feels more of an add-on to this universe, let me say. A sequel, even if you think of movies like let's say the Dark Knight trilogy, each one of those movies, even though there are some connections, they're still pretty self-contained, and you don't need to watch them in a row to understand them. This movie feels like you do have to watch the other ones, and really, to be honest, just 28 Days Later and 28 Years Later. If you watch those two movies, then it kind of gets you familiar with the world and what the feel of it is, and then you can watch this one and kind of understand what the connections are with the other movies. So it feels more like a zombie cinematic universe in this particular case. But it surprised me in the best of ways. Kudos to Nia DaCosta. I'm glad she was able to redeem herself from the tragedy that was her Marvel movie. And I hope she continues to do her own thing, because I think she's got great talent, great skill. And I did see her do more original things to kind of get a sense of what her voice is as a director. Either way, highly recommend this movie. It's a great time. And even if you're not a zombie movie or horror movie guy, you'll still enjoy this. Anyways, let me know what you think in the comments below. Smash that like button, give me a follow, and I'll see you guys next time.